show. We're on there at 9 o'clock on a Thursday night, taking calls about the Jazz.
Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxy Ron and tonight. It's the one and only Bridgeman and JFK.
Evening, Oxford.
Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy,
Brilliant.
Evening, Oxford.
Well done.
Evening, Bridgeman.
Oh, what can I say? Can I say a huge good evening to you guys? Aye. Where's my jingle?
Oh, dearie me.
Can I just say a massive good evening to you guys? Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio, and I'm still as high as a kite, let me tell you.
How are you, JFK?
I don't know where I was there, but I certainly wasn't in my house. Well done, old school. You got me one. You got me there, mate. Oh, you won. I'm fine, guys. It's great to be back on. Great to hear all your dulcet tones. Everybody's keeping well. Enjoyed the game last night. Bit disappointed in the draw, but that's to see you're disappointed about a draw against Benfica is another thing, isn't it? You know, so yeah, I'm fine.
It's a classic deja vu, because once again, I couldn't be disappointed with the result, but I'm disappointed how we arrived at the result, Jimmy.
Aye, as you know, as I said last night, you know that I was saying that we probably won the game 2-0 comfortably. I mean, we were winning it 2-0 comfortably, but we kind of imploded.
I don't know. I don't think we ever controlled the game. They were a decent side with loads of good players.
Oh, they had good players, but I mean, at 2-0, 2-0 Oxford, I couldn't see them scoring. I just think that we were outdone with a silly own goal, and their second goal was a class goal. The flicks and the back heels and all that. But look, we can't be. So was yours, aye. I mean, that was Roof scoring a tap in last night compared to the last one he scored in Europe.
Well, I'll tell you what you'll need to do. You'll need to get yourself on mute, because we're going to have the view from a bridge.
Welcome to our view from the bridge. What a fantastic game last night. Really, really tight for both teams. Magic. I thought it was magic. Great 2-2 result. Smashing result for us, I'd say. Benfica created some good chances, but McGregor made some good saves to for them. The Bridgeman says Benfica were a terrific team. We definitely didn't mollocate them in the game. In the first 5 minutes, we put some pressure on Benfica, making a few chances and half chances. We looked really good. In 6 minutes, Ryan Kent got possession on the right from Arfield, beat the defender and ran into the Benfica box, hit the ball across the 6-yard line, which was picked up by Barisic at the far post area, who tried a nice wee cross, which was cleared, and Barisic picked that up, played it out to Morelos, who linked brilliantly with him for a tempting cross right into the danger area. Strongly met by Roof, who forced the goalkeeper into a great save, only for the ball to go high, and Tav had a really good header against the bar, and out, and the ball went out to Arfield, who buried it. Great shot right into the net, 1-0 to the famous. Both teams were very good, with Rangers letting Benfica get most of the possession. Benfica were playing with some wonderful possession football, but any chances were defended well. They really are a good team. Half-time 1-0. On 62 minutes, Khmer Roof had a great shot which seemed to hit the Benfica player on the hands. Replay showed that it was a Stonewall penalty. So unlucky for the Rangers there. On 68 minutes, Barisic cruised down the left, passed the ball along the line to Kamara, who flicked the ball back to him, right into his path, and he found Khmer Roof, who ran onto the ball and smashed it, an unstoppable shot right into the roof of the net. 2-0 to the Famous. Rangers seemed to be handling everything Benfica were throwing at them, but in 77 minutes, Rangers got punished when they failed to clear the ball correctly, and Benfica scrambled the ball into the net. Looked like an own goal from Tav. 2-1 to the Famous. In 79 minutes, Rangers got a break, and Morelos got into the box with the ball, got a great shot off, which the goalkeeper managed to save onto the crossbar, and unlucky there for the Famous. It's really, really unlucky there. On 80 minutes, Benfica scored a terrific goal. Brilliant close passing play, worked the ball into the box, and got a nice shot from 12 yards high into the Rangers' net. Must say, well done, Benfica. And 2-2, hard luck at Famous. Feels like we were throwing away 3 points once again, which is a source of frustration, especially as a win would have possibly sealed a knockout place for us. But Benfica were the best footballing side that I've seen at Ibrox in a very long time. A delight to watch with their passing game. 2 negatives. They can be a bit dirty in the tackle. That's a bit disappointing. However, the officials failed to give us the awards they deserved, e.g. Stonewall penalty. And there's a few other decisions. Final score 2-2, player by player. McGregor 7, Tavernier 7, Golson 7, Balogun 7, Barisic 7. Arfield 8, Davis 8, Kamara 8, Roof 9, Morelos 8, and Kent 9. Subs not used. No, I've never written. Sorry, we never had used any subs. Man of the match for me was Roof, followed by Kent, Arfield, Davis, and Kamara. What a game these guys played! Fantastic. Possession 38% for Rangers, 62% for Benfica. Shots on target 6 for Rangers, 9 for Benfica. Shots off target 2 for Rangers and 4 for Benfica. Corners 0 for Rangers and 4 for Benfica. Fouls 8 for Rangers and 14 for Benfica. Another great performance overall and a good result for the fans, Rangers management team and the club. Once again, hats off to Steven Gerrard. I thought that was a fantastic game, much like the one over there in Portugal. Really good stuff, and what a wonderful team to watch. I wish I had been there. Disappointed? Obviously, we're all getting disappointed. But my God almighty, that is some team, that Benfica. Marvellous team. And that's the end of the review from a bridge.
Can't take it anymore. View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore.
I just like the tune. You're rubbish, but the tune's good.
Love it, by the way. Love it.
Oh, dear, man, that was good, but I enjoyed that. I'd take one bit of your 2 centre halves. I thought Balogun outshone Golson a wee bit last night, Bridge, in my opinion.
No, I'm not going to argue with you. It's just the way I saw it.
I'm just.
No, and I don't disagree with you to a great extent. I thought both of them were played about the same level as each other. You could say that Balogun had a better game overall than Golson.
That's what he cleared up a couple of times, but that's just my opinion. JFK.
For me, Balogun was the man of the match, followed by Alfredo. Alfredo, although he didn't score, I thought his link-up play was absolutely fantastic. But
I don't think he gave a ball last night.
So if you put it in a 1-2-3, for me it would obviously be Balogun, Alfredo, and Kamara. Alfredo and Kamara probably neck and neck, but I thought Balogun was absolutely outstanding last night. I know before we had a view for a bridge here, I mean, I don't know if you agreed or disagreed, it was kind of mishmash here, but I thought we did control the game, mate. I mean, I know they had a couple of decent chances, but was sitting watching it, I just couldn't see them scoring. At 2-0 up, we were cruising it, mate. We were winning it easy. We were defensively, we were holding our own.
I just felt that they were pushed us back. We were getting deeper and deeper. I don't know what you felt, Bridge.
Oh yes, most assuredly. You can see them getting stronger and stronger. Much the same as they did in Portugal. They only had 10 men in Portugal. So, by the way, I have to say, I thought Rangers were terrific. Yeah. I've said this all the way through. Terrific. And hats off to them all. So proud of them. And by the way, if it had remained at 2-0, I'd be still up the ceiling. She'd need to sweep me off it. I tell you now,
I mean, I've got to say that the move for the goal was excellent, the first goal, but the second goal, that move,
unbelievable.
I mean, what a move it was, the move. The wee back flick. The Kamara, I think it might have been even another nutmeg, the Barisic, who shoved it through the boy's legs on, it looked like to me.
It looked like that to me, yeah.
In the mighty roof, and he ran in, and he put it, you couldn't have placed it any better, JFK.
No. Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely, 100% right. You know, I mean, the way we played last night is the way we've been playing all season, or the last 3 seasons in Europe, and it's absolutely wonderful to watch. And I did say, I thought that we would at least get through the group undefeated. If no, we could win every game. And disappointingly, the last 2 games we've drawn, and which we thoroughly deserved to win. Been 3-1 and 2-0 up, and we'd have been sitting there with full points and qualified as the winners of the group. But we've got 2 good games to go. I'm very confident we'll beat the next 2 teams that's coming up against us. But I agree with Bridge, man. It's another great performance by Rangers last night. There wasn't a bad player in the part last night.
No,
great performance.
The game was everything, mate. But you know, they've given us everything when we get the ball with a good side. I thought Kent and Kamara started the game well. I thought Kent worried them, particularly in the first half. Every time he got the ball, Alfredo done as a job. He's up against a guy who's a centre half for Belgium, who's a good player, but talking at times. Alfie was ragdolling him, Bridge.
He did indeed. He ragdolled him a number of times, and that's what the wee point in my report there was saying about some of the dirty play, and Vertonghen was caught in among it quite a few times. And you see that one where he lifted his hands, that was 100% penalty in anybody's language any day of the week. 100% penalty, and I cannot believe the linesman never even.
It was the linesman.
I agreed. The linesman never even gave it. Terrible.
I've never seen it. I don't know.
I think he saw it and agreed and decided not to do it, not to give us it. They must have been playing in different rules. I'm so happy. So happy. That says 2 games to go in the group stages. Wonderful stuff. Absolutely wonderful stuff. And all we need, really and truly at the moment, all we need is 1 point, and that should take us through. 1 point out of 2 games. Whoa.
If possible, I'd love to win the 2 games. Top.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Well, we've got one at Ibrox, so nobody in our group is anywhere near as good as that Benfica. They are just superb. Just superb. And that's not to say there are no good teams. There's a lot of good teams in the whole championship. For me, get out there now. We need to think about it. Obviously, we've got a big game coming up in Sunday. Huge game for us once again. Every game's going to be big.
Yeah.
But that was tremendous. We came away. You know, as Jimmy said earlier, we're leading 2-0, and you're thinking to yourself, surely we're not going to give this away. And so we did. We surely did.
I mean, the good thing about it is that the result with Standard Liège was a great result for us. You didn't want a draw or Lech Poznan to win that game, so that bodes well for us as you look at the group the way it is sitting now. We're at Marine Place, Ibrox next week against Standard Liège. That's very, very winnable. I don't rate Standard Liège.
You don't?
No, well,
okay.
I don't. No, Ibrox, I think we can beat anybody, Bridgman. I think the way we're playing in Europe and news, any time they knew we're playing absolutely brilliant. So for me, a win next week takes us to 11 points, and that's us minimum runners up. And the game against Lech Poznan there might be a wee bit more difficult because they're allegedly going to have 2,000 or 3,000 fans there, and
but also they could be out by then.
They could be out by then as well. So there's a lot of twists and turns. But that result last night, with Liège winning last night, for me, bodes well for us getting into the game at Ibrox next week. Definitely.
All right, I tell you what we'll do. We'll hear from your manager, Stephen Gerrard, and get his thoughts on last night's game.
I think when you get yourself in a position like we did, similar to a couple of weeks ago, I think you're always going to be slightly frustrated, of course. But I think when the emotion settles, I think it'll be a positive result. I think it's a fair result over the 90 minutes. I even felt at 2-0. We probably didn't deserve to be 2 in front. I didn't feel like we had total control of the game. And, you know, taking into consideration we're playing a real top team here who probably shouldn't be in the Europa League. They're the Champions League side, in my opinion.
Stephen, it's a bit of a cliche, but in this group, would you have taken 8 points having played Benfica twice before the competition kicked off?
I'd certainly have took 2 draws against Benfica because before you kick a ball against them, you know, you realise they're the 4th highest spenders in world football. You see the quality they've got throughout the squad and the manager and the experience he's got. Of course, at 2-0, we're slightly frustrated we never got the qualification done. But look, we're playing against top players and a top team, and I thought they found some weaknesses in our performance towards the end of the game when we tired, and we paid for it. But, you know, I'll certainly go away and take the positives over the 2 games against Benfica, because where we're at as a team to compete with Benfica over 2 games is a big positive for me.
Hi, Stephen. Can you just give us an update on why Joe Aribo wasn't involved tonight?
Yeah, he was unwell. He had a stomach complaint last night. The plan was for Joe to be involved. He's had a stomach complaint, so we've been getting some checks and assessing him, and hopefully he'll be available for the weekend.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello.
Was it almost inevitable, just the work that your team had put in to that 90 minutes, that, you know, they were going to tire towards the end? I mean, Glenn Carrott, the midfield, Glenn Kamara especially, the work rate was incredible.
Listen, I think what you've got to commit to that game in terms of your focus, your concentration levels, and the work, the leg work you'd have to put in. That's what these teams do to you. They work you from side to side, and they keep the intensity up for 90 minutes. And then when you make 1 or 2 little small errors, they make you pay for it. And I think that's what they did. We had to empty the tank for 70, 75 minutes, and I thought we tired as a group. And that's when we had a few complications. But look, I mean, that's a learning experience for us as a group. This is the type of team that, you know, we don't really play against this level of team domestically. So we need to keep improving, keep growing, keep trying to add, you know, better players to our group. And in these situations moving forward, hopefully we can become better and stronger towards the end of games at this level.
And another special goal from Kamar Roof tonight. How close do you think? How is he getting to, you know, where you think he can be?
Well, he's repeating training sessions now, and he's available for games. You know, he's got no niggles or pains or disruption to his training. So, and I think you can see signs that he's getting close to his best. He looked dangerous throughout. He scored a fantastic goal, and we're really pleased with him at the moment. I think now he's played quite a few on the spin, I need to be sensible with Kamar for the weekend. So we'll make that decision in the coming days. But we need to keep him fit for the big games domestically, because he's going to be a big help to the squad.
Even I know you touched on it. You would have taken this position in the group before the start. But do you feel that this team is now able to take on anybody in Europe, given the way that they've grown in the group stages over the last couple of years?
What I would say, Charles, is this group of players are very honest. They're a great group, and whatever challenge they're presented with, they'll go and give it the best shot, that's for sure. Their attitude, their application, I've been very proud of from the beginning of the season. I think in terms of facing anyone at the moment, I think it's a bit ambitious to say we're ready to face anyone. You know, we're still a group that's in an evolution, that's still growing, still trying to improve. But without a doubt, these players would take any challenge on. I'm really proud of them.
Well, thanks for that, Fox.
Yep.
They're both back?
Yep.
Very honest, their manager. JFK.
Yeah, as always, very honest, mate. Very, very honest. You know, he realised the task that's in front of us, and he grasped it with both hands, and the team performed for him, and he's very honest in his assessment. But what I would like to ask, I was talking to a fellow Blue Nose today, and it's not a criticism. I found it myself watching the game is why the manager didn't use any substitutes. Just to maybe kind of tighten it up at the back.
What would you have done personally?
Personally, I'd probably went to a 5 at the back, right? And they're probably bought Hollander on, and they're probably maybe take Kamara or Arfield off. But it's not a criticism, because at that time I thought we were coasting it, as I said, Oxshire, and I'll stick by that. And I know that some will say, but they were pushing us back, and they were pushing us back. That then might be alarm bells to the manager, which weren't setting off for me. But I just thought we should maybe tighten up a bit at the back to try and keep the 2-0, especially at 2-1. But he didn't, because the teams were still performing well at that time, and it was unfortunate, because it was a great goal that they scored, no doubt about it. The second goal was a well-worked goal.
Nice passing move.
Oh, of course it was. But yeah, I'd like to see them tighten it up a wee bit in the last 10 minutes. But obviously, he didn't do that. But it's only an observation. It's not a criticism of what the manager did.
I don't think you're alone in that. People would have been. I think what it showed is Sunga, Aribo, and Ryan Jack were on the bench, and he never trusted any to replace his engine room bridgeman, did he?
No, he never took any chances against that team, because I really don't know his full reasons, but I would imagine he doesn't want to change the rhythm that the team had built up, got themselves through a couple of times, scored 2 great goals and great chances for other goals, and a penalty disallowed, or penalty claim disallowed, should I say. And who do you take off? The old dilemma. And sometimes you're better to keep your strength in.
Hindsight, Bridge, in hindsight, yes, just in hindsight.
I wouldn't have taken him off. I would have stayed with the manager.
I thought the two of them were playing well, but I could have whipped off the top 3, put Bakker on the right, Bassey on the left, and squeezed the whole middle in, so they didn't have to do as much running when we got the goal. But that's only in hindsight.
Yeah, look, everybody's got their own thoughts and processes, and I'm sure that...
And if I not talk, just for the last 10, 15 minutes.
It's a brilliant shout. You know, you could have bit knitting on to take and swap him over with Alfie. Alfie ran himself ragged. What a shift he put in. Excuse me. Or you could have just brought knitting on, and who was injured? Was it MD carrying a knock? Alfie. Alfie was the only one that carrying a knock, that's all.
He would earn his ankle a bit in the first half.
He got trampled 3 times.
He did, but I think, no, I wouldn't have taken Fred off. You know, I still maintain he was in my top 3 men of the match.
I thought Fredo had a great game.
He had a fantastic game, Oxshire. It just shows
he's got a roof off to give him a rest.
Well, I would have been taking him off to give him a rest. I'd have just been taking him off to bring on fresh faces, and they do have a bit of legs, and obviously Bassey's reasonably quick. Barker's quick, and they've just played them either side of the 3 midfield players to make it easier for the 3 players who've done so much work. But I'm saying it again, that's in hindsight.
Yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing. 100%.
So if people want to join us, give us a call. What's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. You brought in a call with Fox and Old School Blue. If you phone in, hang up and we will phone you back. What can they talk about? JFK.
You can come in and talk about the famous Glasgow Rangers.
Yep. Obviously, once again, trying to single-handedly keep the coefficient up for Scottish football in Europe, Bridge. No laughing at the back there.
Titter.
Titter. Oh well, you'll have a chat then, JFK.
Yeah. It's once again, you know, as we've done in the last 2 seasons before this one, my performances in Europe have kept the coefficient high for Scotland. And the ironic thing is, come the season after next, then 2 Champions League places, I'm told that there's an automatic place, and then 2 qualifying thingy. And it's ironic if 8 others does manage to win anything like the Championship, that then they can benefit from what Rangers have achieved in the last 3 seasons, you know. So, but the coefficient's been fantastic. It's all down to Rangers. The rest are off on by the wayside, you know. Parts of the game last night, watching it, I'm just looking. I said that to my boys watching it last night as we were watching it. We looked more like the Champions League team than Benfica did at times. And that was very gratifying to be able to think like that, mate. The way it's happened to us since 2012. I thought the Benfica game the last time and this one, we were outstanding, mate. Outstanding. And that's no going over the top. I think everybody would agree with that.
I would have took the results, but I fully understand how people are disappointed how we achieved them. I get it.
Yeah.
When you're winning by 2 goals, you're always going to be disappointed, Bridget.
Yeah, indeed. But their first goal was just a comedy of errors, wasn't it? The ball was bouncing here, bouncing off of people. And the last touch of the ball, it bounces off of Tavernier's knee, I think it was. And of course, they'll give it to the Benfica player. But the chance was there, it all bouncing around. The ball was a couple of times up at their end. The ball was bouncing around as well. And we couldn't quite grasp it. But no, I would have been over the moon, completely over the moon, if we had won that night last night. Even if it was 2-1, if we'd won, got 3 points last night, you wouldn't have seen the Bridgeman for dust. You'd need to come up and drag me off the roof. Seriously, I would have high as a kite. I'm that now, seriously. So proud. So proud. That was another nice tune. Well done. Is it Old School Blues grabbing the tunes? Fantastic.
Where are you on, Fox?
Oh, Foxy did it, was it? Hey there, you with your sad face.
It's a shootbox jury. So I don't know how do I put this. I fully understand people's disappointments, but I would have took that before the groups, before we kicked a ball. JFK.
Of course it would, mate, because if we were drawn 2 each there and 3 each the last game, and we'd scraped that, it was a comeback for us. That maybe over the moon with that, But to be 3-1 up and 2-0 up in the 2 games, and then to get a draw, it's a disappointment. And the fact is what we could have achieved in the 2 games. That's all it is. Other than that, there's no criticism of why the team played. The team played fantastic every game so far in the Europa League. So it's a disappointment. The fact is that we're craving for that 3 points, Oxshire. No, instead of having the 1, it's the 3 we crave. That's what gives us a disappointment.
Bolton bullseye, wasn't it?
Aye. It's like aye.
You won a prize, but it was naked to you.
It's like winning a gazebo and you stay in the high flats.
Come on, Bridgeman, you must have won. Anyway, we'll be joined by caller. Evening, caller.
Hi, good evening.
What's your name, mate?
Gary.
Gary, how we doing, mate? All right?
Very good, yeah, very good.
What's on your mind, mate? First time caller?
First time caller, yeah, first time caller. And the show. I want to just talk about last night, and it's just good to be back watching Rangers in Europe against the cream, the teams that we should be in amongst, like Benfica. And I think that there's obviously everybody's got their own opinion, and they're entitled to do that. The previous caller was a wee bit upset, and not the previous caller. I was listening to Clyde phoning. One of the callers. He was.
There's a lot of callers on there upset.
Aye, just like you have to take stock of where we've come from. We're just over 2.5 years ago. Kashina's having an argument with fans in a bush. Do you know what I mean? After we've been put against Progress, and then fast forward, 2.5 years, we're now in a position where we're gone 2 goals clear against teams like Benfica, and of course you want to win, but and there is question marks there over why Gerrard didn't make subs. He'll know why he didn't make subs, and that's the most important thing. And one thing I'll say about Steven Gerrard is he seems to be a really fast learner. He has made a lot of mistakes over the last 2.5 years that he's been at Rangers, but he doesn't often make the same mistake twice. So if you go back to like the time when we played Celtic, maybe it's 2-0 at Ibrox, and he played Defoe up front instead of Morelos, and he made a couple of changes, and people were scratching on that, going, what's he doing? I think in that game, obviously he wanted to win, but I think that game was more like an experiment trying to work out Celtic. Because since that game, he's not put a foot wrong against them. He's got the measure of them. No. And I think that's kind of the reason why he does some things, because he's only a young manager himself, cutting his teeth in this game of football, in the management game of football. He obviously has been around the game a hell of a long time, but he's going to make mistakes. But the really, really good thing for him, and really, really fortunate for us as fans of the club, he doesn't make the same mistakes often twice, and he seems to learn from them really fast. So why did they not make the change last night? We were a wee bit thin on the ground. And if Aribo didn't have a stomach bug and was there, that would have showed us up front, and we could have made changes. So I'm over the moon. I think Balogun had a great game. But I would have given my man in the match, to be honest with you, Roof. I thought Roof was really good as well.
I wouldn't argue with that, mate. Wouldn't argue with that.
And when we're playing really well and in the form they're in, it's often hard to pick a man in the match. You know what I mean? But I think that his movement and link-up play on the right-hand side, and then to take his goal as well as what he did, and just having that fight and that hunger, I think he's a type of player that we've been kind of crying out for. And people say he's a bit of a sick note when he was at Anderlecht, but all we can do is go off what we see as Rangers fans. He took a bit of time when he came to the club to get fit. He took a bit of time to bed in, learn the system, and I think we're seeing basically what we paid for, in the transfer market for a player of top quality.
All right. We'll go back to the substitutions. I get it. I think we all get it. It's so easy to be wise after the event, and if they get me Peter Doot, like JFK intimated at the start of the show would have been no criticism. I get how people will question it now. JFK.
Yeah. Well, right. So do we have
to? Gary, just let
that. Go for it.
Right, we'll come right back to you.
What Gary said is 100%. I agree with everything he said. And you yourself as well, Oxford. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but sitting watching it, you're hoping that that he does make that substitution, because we were starting to get that pushed back, and obviously it was inevitable to a lot as it was going to happen. I agree with Gary saying there. He is a quick learner. We've saw what happened the last 2 seasons. The journey we've had so far in the last 2.5 seasons in Europe has been absolutely fantastic, and he's learned by that. And I go along the lines of our pre-season and building a team was the Europa League 2 seasons ago, and then last season as well, that got us to the position that we're in now. And you can see that in the togetherness and the way they play for each other. Not just with the ball, but off the ball as well. They know what position they should be in when they've not got the ball. And it's absolutely wonderful to watch. And long may it continue. So that is a disappointing thing, only because we did deserve to take the 6 points out of the 2 games and we didn't get it. And I
think we should have won the first game. I actually think that the piece that if you'd have been watching that game as a neutral, you'd have said that was a fair result last night.
They're a good team, but just going back to about changing bringing a defender and going 5 at the back. That's only in hindsight. You're saying that you either have faith in the system that's got us 17 clean sheets this season, or you don't. The system that we play it's not foolproof, nothing is, but it obviously works. And the players that were on there were good enough. But it's a game of football. The other team are trying to beat you. And you know what? The other team are pretty good, and they've spent a lot of money. And yeah, they were depleted. But then, as I say, so were we, missing a Aribo because of a sore stomach, missing Jack. So, you go into the game, you have faith in the players that are on the pitch that have already done really well this season. And you have faith. Did you notice the first goal was a bit of a calamity? But the second goal, how they kind of carved us open. Did you not see how the players stopped? There was no anger. It was almost like the players feel gutted for each other. Like, how have they scored that? Because that's the unity they have in each other, the belief in each other that they have. So, you know, you got to remember, it's a competition. You're playing a game of football, the other team are trying to beat you. And I think we're a wee bit spoiled this season with how well we've done, that we forget that, you know, the other team have got a right to try and win as well. and that's the crux of it. So saying that we should go 5 at the back, and that's everybody's entitled to their opinion, as I say, do you know what I mean? But if you do that, you've no trained for that. I guarantee you, they've not spent any time having 5 at the back. They've no trained of, like you say, about where to be and what position to be in out of possession. So when you change the system, you change the formation, all of a sudden people start going, well, I should be here, and you normally cover that area. And you start messing about, and he starts to, he could have lost the game. And then all of a sudden, why is he gone 5 at the back? So it's only in hindsight, and I get why he's saying that, but
you'll never be able to answer that, Gary. You could have made the 3 substitutions, took half A, B, and C, and you could have lost 5 goals. You know, you'll never be able to answer that now. Bridgeman?
Yeah, I was just listening away there, but seriously, if Ryan Jack had been available, and I mean this in all honesty, I think he would have come on and you would have done a kind of shore-up job, and maybe would have taken off Kent or even anybody for up front and just drop back and let Ryan Jack patrol there and do the business. And he's quite very good in a defensive midfield role, and that maybe we could have done with that. But at the end of the day, as I've said, I was happy that we were where we were, and we stayed where we were, in the sense that we're still up there, we're top of the league. My God, Rangers top of the league in the group stages of the Europa League. Unbelievable stuff.
22 games undefeated. We have been joined by Dave from Edinburgh. How are we doing, big chap?
All right, mate. All right, Bridgeman, JFK, and Gary.
Hi, Dave. You all right, buddy?
Aye, no bad, mate. I was going to phone in last night, but I had a few Shebrits, you know. I was drinking the Blue Lagoons. I nearly threw one of them at the telly, you know.
Oh my God.
See when Goldson done that wee bit, remember when all our hearts just about fell out of chest?
Nearly fell over the ball as well. Terrible.
Aye, that's when I just about threw my drink, but I wasted, I drank it. But I nearly threw it at the telly, you know.
Do you not think when he done that though, that would have led to a goal last season? Because that's the kind of stuff he was doing last year.
I thought it was going to, mate, Gary. I thought it was going to lead to a goal, but he just managed to recover and name it.
But you could see his head saying it as well when he done it. He went, oh, yeah, his heart must have skipped a beat.
I just see he's cut that out of his game. That's why he's improved so much. Him and Cav, they've improved so much for last year. They cut that out of their game, and I thought, please didn't bring it back into your game. But anyway, I agree with most of your assessments. He could have brought in a couple of subs last night, but I agree with JFK. We weren't cruising, but I would say we were defending really well. And obviously it got to 70 minutes, and I wouldn't say it was like the last game where it was game management. This time I genuinely think it was the legs, because we never had a Rebo to bring on, we never had Jack to bring on. We would have changed that. We would have brought on Zunga, Jack and a Rebo and changed the whole of the midfield, and then we would have had the legs to go again, and we probably would have scored again. So they just run out your legs, and that's what I think it was. They brought on 5 subs, and they freshened it up, and we never had anything to freshen it up. And obviously, they trusted Hadji, and well, he could have maybe brought on it, but you know what I mean. It's as you say, it's hearsay. It's hindsight, isn't it? Wonderful thing.
Just a question for you.
If we had those 3, sorry, pal. Sorry.
One at a time, right? Just wait for your name, and then you'll know to come in. I think Dave, you wrote that down, Dave, yeah?
What's that? Sorry, mate.
I think that, all right, we ran out of legs, but there was just, when we lost the first goal, it was just there was a bad header for Barisic, defensive header, where it just sort of, just hit off his head. He could have heated it out of the park, or heated it a bit here. And it just gave us that few seconds. And on that bad header, we ended up losing that goal. No, there was a lot of things after that play.
But you know how Tav's header went straight back into the melting pot, though?
Tav wasn't great at the back post, but then again he played a lovely 1-2 with a bar for Arfield's goal. You know,
but you can't criticise them too much.
No,
They've been brilliant all season. You know what I mean?
They gave us everything. Bridgeman.
Aye.
Yeah, unbelievably. And it was just saying there, if you've got Zungu and Jack, and I can't remember the other player you mentioned. Aribo, yeah, of course. And you know, if those three would have been available, as soon as that second goal went in, you could just see the jungle drum starting, because they would have changed the three. They would have brought those three on.
Bridgeman, I think he would have brought. Bridgeman, I think he would have brought the three on as soon as we went 2-0 up.
That's what I'm saying. As soon as they scored the second goal, bang.
The person calling is unable to take your call. Please leave your message after the tone. To re-record your message.
Oh, he was there. We'll go to Gary, and then we'll go to JFK. Gary?
I don't think it was all. I think when they scored their first goal, we still had that chance, the double chance where Kent got through, and then it came back to Morelos, and he had a shot which the keeper saved onto the bar, and came back out. So we still had chances in the game. So it wasn't all. They looked more and more dangerous now coming into the game. You could see that, and as I say, you know, I'm not going to second guess Gerrard. I think we're in a fortunate position where we can sit here now, 2 years after the Progress disaster.
3 years.
And
3 years.
But it's about that 2.5, 3 years. You know, to how far we've come, and how far the squad's come. To be sitting here picking the bones at a 2-2 draw with Benfica, who spent £90 million in the summer. So I think, you know, we always want to win, especially when you're 2 goals up. But as I say, the other team are trying to win as well, and they're pretty decent team.
I know, real good players. JFK, and then we'll be joined by Alex.
Well, that was my thinking in it. You know, they used their 5 subs, we used 0. You know, and we should have freshened it up. No, because I mean they brought. I mean, in this day and age, when teams are allowed to bring half a team on, as substitutes, then that can cause you a lot of problems. And I think it did. So I mean, I know we had when Zungu and Ryan Jack weren't available in Aribo. So but I was hoping that we would change it. And I said before, it's not a criticism of the gaffer, because I mean, it was just I thought he could have changed it, especially when they brought the 5-0 in Oxford. Why did we not freshen it up just to give some extra legs on the park, and no rely on it getting pushed as far back as we did, which inevitably, as I said, I was talking last night to my boys, see if the game had lasted another 10 minutes, I think we'd have lost the game, mate. They'd pushed us that deep, you know, and that's where I was like,
when they went 2 each.
But I went 2 each, mate, and if it had been 10 minutes to go, I'd say that, well, we could have been in trouble here, because we could lose this game. What did the gaffer do? He didn't bring the subs on, but we still come away with the 2 each, which was good. But that is and as you've said, you've used the word several times, hindsight is a wonderful thing. You know, probably if it's Zungu, Jack, and Aribo available, then they probably would have played some part in it. Maybe he just doesn't rely on the subs that he had. The only one looking at the subs bench would probably be the 2 there would be probably Calvin Bassey and Philip Hollander. The rest you could probably forget about, in my mind anyway, apart from Greg Stewart, which I don't know what kind of part he's going to play at all with Rangers this season. But 2 young boys in the bench, Kieran Dixon and Liam King. So that told you that there wasn't the full facility to have 10 subs on that he could rely on. So maybe that was his thinking, Ox. Yeah, I don't have the personnel at this moment in time because of injuries. But it's a 2 each draw. It's great.
Going off subject slightly, right? But still with the Rangers. That young boy Leon King, I heard Andy Halliday on Clyde talking about him, and he said he's a really, really special prospect. He's only a young boy, but he's been playing a couple of years up in the youth divisions. So it'll be interesting to see. It's good that he's been on the bench for a European game. Yeah. Obviously, he's only a young boy, but it'll be really interesting to see how he develops, because he's a name I hadn't heard before when I seen him on the bench last night. I went away and done a wee bit of research and
Have you ever heard of the Kings of Leon?
But, no, it's just I've heard of the guy, the boy Bob Jonas, who scored in the pre-season friendlies, and a couple of other boys in the youth setup. But Halliday says that the Leon King boys are a really promising prospect. He was playing under 18s when he was 16, so he must be decent.
Talking about young prospects, we'll be joined by Alex.
Hello.
Hello
there, Oxford, Bridgeman, JFK.
Oh, Alex, how you doing, pal? How's it going?
How we doing, Alex? You all right?
Are you all right?
All right, Alex.
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent, bud.
Firstly, what a game of football,
Aye, great
game.
Loved it.
Two great teams going for it. I thought Rangers went toe-to-toe with them. I forecast 1-0 or 2-0 at the beginning. Went 2-0 up. I thought, this is really looking as if we're going on today this year. The turning point, the penalty kick. I mean, how that linesman never seen that. Beggars belief.
But it was 1-0 at the time when that happened.
Oh, was it 1-0 then? All right, 1-0. But even at that, would you call how you missed
it? Was
that?
A penalty, Alex. It was a penalty.
Oh, unbelievable, that.
You could tell with Vertonghen's body language. If nothing else, his body language, as soon as it hit his hand, you could tell straight away because he froze. He knew it was coming. He's waiting for the whistle to go.
Yeah, I thought he was going to give that.
Alex,
the linesman's about a couple of feet away from him, you know. So
the linesman's bricked it. He's no wanted to know. He doesn't want to make that judgment call. He's left it to the ref, who's about. If the ref's still in the other half, if you actually watch the game back.
I agree with you there, pal. I agree with you there.
It was a linesman's fault. Alex,
the team itself.
Carry on.
Oh, they did. What a performance! So the defence. Thought Balogun was outstanding there. Midfield, but the three guys at the front, power of work they done. I thought Morelos was the man of the match, basically. I thought he was unplayable.
I don't think you're alone in that, mate. I don't think you're alone.
I'm very impressed with where Morelos is at the moment, honestly. I think where that boy's came from since Gerrard has come in, when he came in, he was a goal machine, but it was all about me. He was very selfish. You've seen that in his disciplinary record. He wasn't. I don't think he spoke. I still don't think he speaks much English. But I think Gerrard's told him to start getting English lessons and learning the language so that he can speak to his boys and his teammates. And if you look at where he's come from, and it's not all about Morelos now, and he's bought into that. And he probably has had his head filled with nonsense by his agents and the going-ons of modern-day football. And do you know what? For Morelos, I wish him all the best in the future, wherever he ends up. But from where he was in the summer, when football, the Rangers fans all fell out with him, and I think we know why, to where he is now, which is, dropping deep, linking up the play. His disciplinary record's brilliant now. He's not lost that tenacity of his game. But no, I'm very, very impressed with where he is at the moment, and he's probably adding more value on his. Just people know he can score goals, but he's got more to his game now. Sorry.
That's all right, mate. All right, just that we've been joined by Bob here. How we doing, Bob? I've got to get him in case he has to take the dogs for a walk. How we doing, Bob?
No, Bob, Jer. You're not letting him on, are you?
Yeah. Oh, certainly no. How you doing, boys? All right?
I'm Bob, Jer.
Everybody all right?
Okay,
good. The dogs have just had me out there along with the shop, and guess what I got? Anyway, I'd just like to say I'm a bit of mixed emotions about last night and all, but the plus side of it is, would you have been top of the group? Of course you would. And didn't forget that we were playing a high quality side in Benfica, and we were 2 goals up on them in consecutive games. Okay, we couldn't beat them, but that's the situation we were in, lads. And if you listen to your manager, he says they're not spending that level of money to be in the Europa League. They're spending that level of money to be in the Champions League, and that's what we were up against. And we, I think, more than matched them. So it's not all bad. It's all good. You agree?
Fourth biggest spenders in Europe.
Yeah,
sorry, exactly, Davey.
Dave, wait till your name's mentioned.
Totally,
Okay.
totally agree with everything Alex said there. You know, everything's going good. You know, to be no griping, but to be a wee bit. Oh, that should have been a win. That just shows you how far we've came, and the gaffer's got us playing some fantastic football. To be top of the group is absolutely wonderful, and I still maintain and stick by what I said before we even kicked a ball in the Europa League. I did say we'd probably finish unbeaten, but I did put my neck out and say that we would probably win every game, and that we have been very, very near it. And I still think we'll win the last 2 games and finish top of the group.
Oh, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Alex.
I agree with JK there. That's about right. Well, what do you call it? They're playing absolutely wonderful football. We come up against a team there. They're for the Champions League. The money they've spent. I think the game, if it swayed any the last 20 minutes, the substitutions made a big thing. They've played every one of their 5 substitutes, and they were all class guys. We were tiring a wee bit, as you could see. I'm in the house and I'm thinking, is he going to change it here? You know, but hindsight's a great thing. I thought maybe they brought Bassey on to tighten things up, but that's just me and all. And maybe Brandon Barker to, what do you call it, play up front, maybe give a bit of time in their legs to run the balls into the corner and that. But you can't really fault the team. Absolutely fantastic how they've turned out the performances and that. As I say, they're a top club. They're not getting away from it.
Yeah. Big Dave, and you come, mate.
Aye, I was just going to say, I loved Steven Gerrard's interview there, saying about obviously we got a wee bit tired at the end, and they obviously didn't trust the subs that was on the bench, obviously, you know, with the youngsters and that. As you say, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and he could have brought in the subs and then we lose 2 or 3 goals, and then you're all crying, well, what did he do that for? But I liked his interview there when he says, we'll improve, we'll get better players. And that makes me excited for the future, because if he's talking about putting better players in that team, well, what we've got now, where are we going to be this time next year? You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It was a good result. We were I wouldn't say we lost game management, as I said, like the last game. We just tired of it. We lost our 3 our best midfielders. We couldn't bring them on. They would have probably seen the game out. And aye, it's all good. It's all good. I would have, like all years, I would have took the 8 points, unbeaten, top of the group, and we'll beat Standard Liège next Thursday. And as I say, probably win the last 2 games and win the group.
Bob Gerrard, I'm not in Scotland at the moment, but obviously it's all over the Scottish press how well Rangers are doing in Europe. Yeah.
Stop cracking jokes like you.
Absolutely, I would agree with that.
You're called Bob Gerrard.
Oh, sorry, but I thought I'd finished.
Yeah.
All right, it's okay, lads. It's great to hear from you all. This is my nightly nurture now, Rangers Radio. I'll leave her alone and come and talk about the Jars. Hey, if you're going to play against a side that can pass the ball as well as they do, and use the width of the park they do, and have the quality they've got, you're going to be tired, all right. I thought he was maybe quite right just to leave it as it was, just to see the game out. If you'd have put Big Highlander on and went for it all at the back, then you're inviting them onto you. And we all care the quality they've got. They showed it in the hinder end. Christ, it's Benfica we played, boys. So we're in a great position. As Big David says there, the next 2 games, to me also I agree, they are winnable. I think we can beat Standard Liège. I'm not getting complacent. They're a decent side. And I think we've avoided was Madrid, was a cup final in Poland. All we need is a point, and we're into the next round, and we're making more money for the club, which is great for the future. What do you think?
You come, Bridge?
Here. I was going to say, I watch the news and things like that. So at lunchtime today, BBC News, not one single mention of Rangers, not their name at all, nothing. And then the STV News come on, exact same. So absolutely no coverage from the 2 main radio and TV stations in Scotland. Anyway, don't even mention their name. But plenty of stories about them across the city. Plenty of stories.
You're good stories, though.
It's my banner. It's my banner.
They've got a lot more to talk about.
Well, maybe
They're on radio playing greeting.
Oh, big time. But Benfica only got 2 shots on target last night and took both. Although one of them was an OG, but 2 shots on target and they got 2 goals. So you can read into that positives or negatives, but they restricted them.
But they and McGregor didn't have a lot of saves to make, but you could just see us, and I don't know what you think, Alex, when we got the second goal, we just started going deeper and deeper and deeper a bit. You know, and you could just see us running out a bit of gas, Alex.
Oh, I totally agree with you. It's just, I agree there what you call it, what Bob Jervis saying. When you're put against a team like that can spread the ball about, one-touch stuff, run off the ball and that, you're going to go up against it. But we went further behind, you know, you could see us going deeper. But that's, give Rangers out the credit there as well, you know, because even the defending up to there was very good as well, you know. And we had a wee outlet with Kent there. As I say, the 3 guys up front, the work they put in was unbelievable. And Morelos, that's probably the best I've seen Morelos playing. He's definitely had another bit to his game in that. And that's through Stevie Gerrard and Jerry Mack, Michael Beale, own him in the training ground. And it's a team game.
That's a great point you make. I would wonder if you spoke to that for Tongan and you see what kind of player was that you were up against tonight and get his opinion.
That's coming up, Stuart.
On you go, Bob. Dave.
It's Dave. Aye, you were talking the other night there about quantum physics. Well, we've come light years from where we were 3 years ago, you know what I mean? Light years from 3 years ago. And what was I going to say there? Made me forget now. What was I going to say there now? Had it in my head there. I'll come back to it. No, it's just...
a joke for 2 nights, mate, and it doesn't flow naturally, it can kill you.
I'll come back to me. Go to someone else. I'll come back to me.
Right, we'll come back to you next Tuesday, right?
Oxia, can I say something, Oxia?
Yes, Alex.
How do you think it would have went with the 50,000 fans in there? We're 2-0 up. You think the crowd would be enough to get us over it?
That's. I mean, see these questions, right? We could have stumbled on and somebody could have, the crowd is behind you and somebody kicks away and you don't lose the first goal and again Peters we win 2-0. Or we lost the goal, the crowd got on their back a wee bit and we end up losing 3-2. These questions we'll never be able to answer, will we?
Never. There would have been some atmosphere. This is the thing, see the atmosphere going 2-0 up in there. That place would have been absolutely rocking.
What a goal it was, wasn't it? Anyway, get yourself in mute, and after a tune, we're going to come back to Big Dave because I remember what he was going to say.
Team of all. We support the Glasgow Rangers, do not Ibrox is the place, and we will follow in the championship race. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. It's true, the magic boys in blue are the best team in the land. You've got to queue and Govan to get a ticket for the stand. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. We've spent a lot of money on great players, yes, that's true. But the Rangers fans deserve the best from the boys in royal blue. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. ago the story, it was dismal, full of gloom. Now we're building an extension for the Ibrox Trophy room. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. In Europe we'll be travelling by land and sea and plain. The teddy bears have got the bears and we're on the march again. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue have just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue have just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue have just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue have just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue have just magic.
You like that one, Bridge?
Just made it back to my desk there. Yes, I'm just skating around the scullery there, pal. Skating around the scullery.
That's for the people from North West Bearsden. Do we know like that one?
What,
North
scullery?
West Bearsden. Oh, North West Bearsden.
The scullery.
Skating around the scullery.
Downton Abbey here. The scullery.
Downton Abbey.
Scullery.
Dearie me.
Right, well, right, Big Dave, has it come back to you?
Aye, I've remembered. It took me a while, right enough. No, I was just going to say, right, how far we've come. Light years, obviously, right?
Aye.
That's Gerard, what was that? Was that his 40th or his 39th game in Europe last night?
I'll tell you that in a minute, mate. I'll just check
It's 39 or 40, right? We've lost 5, 2 to Leverkusen, and obviously we lost in the last 16. It just shows you how far we've come on. I mean, the European record's phenomenal. And as they were saying, Hugh Keevans and that were saying on Radio Clyde, and I agree with them, the value of the players has gone up with every performance at Rangers play in Europe. The value of the players. You're talking about Renault back, what was it, 16 million for Morelos. The value of the players is higher than what it was. It's gone up and up and up with each performance in Europe. Doesn't matter about the SPL, obviously, because they didn't take notice of that. It's Europe they take notice of. And Kamara's performance last night, I would have taken less than 20 million for that boy. Cost 50 grand, I wouldn't take less than 20 million for that boy. You think about the fees that they're throwing about for average players down south, and I'm talking average players. You know what I'm saying, boys?
Aye, I do. 38th.
38 was it? 38. And we've lost, what is it? Oh, it's just 5.
The two Germans.
Phenomenal.
Vienna, away to Russia. And young boys, wasn't it?
Young boys.
Swiss mob. Swiss, Russia, and who else?
Vienna.
But by Leverkusen, Champions League team, basically.
It might be 39. It might be 39.
I think it's 39. I was counting it earlier. I think it's 39. It's got 2 minutes to go. It'll be just over 40, and it'll be 5 and 41.
That's a great record there, GFQ.
Aye, played 31, 20, lost 4, drawn 15. 1% is 51%. So, great records, you know. Look, see when we were going on this journey, when Steven Gerrard came, I mean, some of us were sceptical, and I know I was, you know, a fledgling manager, came to Rangers, but the journey he's taken us on in Europe has been absolutely fantastic, and it's still continuing. And dare I say it, how far can we go? You know, we'll just leave that wee sentence there. But I think, as I said earlier on, watching the way we played, not just in the last 2 games against Benfica, but the way we have been playing in Europe this season, we look like a Champions League team. You know, we're playing to that potential, and that's where we will be next season, definitely. And we deserve to be there, and that's all down to what Steven Gerrard's done. I mean, I'll put my hand. I mean, myself and my good friend Fox had a few chats about it on here about how I was doubting what Gerrard was trying to achieve But he's made me eat my words. I'm watching Rangers this season, like yourself, a long-time Rangers fan for a lot of years, and I'm really excited about what's hopefully about to happen with us. And Steven Gerrard's just taken us to a different level, mate. And it's something I never thought I would see for a long time, especially what happened in 2012. And to guys of my age and a wee bit older, like Bridgeman, who maybe thought we'd never see Rangers perform as well as they have done in many years. This is absolutely wonderful to see, mate. That's all I can say about that.
Right,
Can we
we're
come in
going
on
to
that?
move on. No, you can't.
Okay,
And I'm
okay,
going
man.
to tell you why.
Okay,
Is that all
no
right?
my turn.
No, not at all. Not at all. We'll come right back to you, but we're going to move on because we're moving on to a different competition. But it's important to us because we'd like to get a bit of silverware on our back. And we'll go to Bridge first. We're moving on to a game on Sunday. And we've got to keep winning. Keep this run going. 22 games undefeated. Great record. Bridgeman, we're moving on to the League Cup tie. Last 16 tie.
Against Falkirk.
Yes.
Against Falkirk through there. So it's a 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock kickoff or something like that. So that's going to be fun and games for anybody. Look, I don't know if spans are allowed over there, are they? I don't know what tier they are.
No.
No, okay, that's fine. Let's leave it at that. We're happy with that then.
Let's hope when the game's finished they're on tiers.
Oh, of course, pal, of course. Absolutely. No, wait, Rangers. Let's put the big should up with double quotes. Should find no problem playing against that team. No problem. Anytime, anywhere, they should absolutely leather them and give them a good mollification. That's what they should be doing, Rangers.
All right. We have been joined by Southside. Southside's joined us to give us his team, I think. How are we doing, Southside?
All right, Trips, how's it going?
Keep talking, mate.
All right, how you doing? Who's on the night? You and
All right,
Jake?
Southside.
All right, Dave.
Southside, how you doing, pal?
How you doing, mate? Welcome.
No bad.
It's mob tonight.
If I had to sum up last night, I'd say frustration, disappointment, and deja vu.
Now you know how your wife feels.
I know. I don't know what you have been saying, guys. I'm no longer in the door, but I was just disappointed. I think we flung away again a 2-goal lead. I thought we should have seen it through. Twice we've let them off the hook. I know they're a good team. I know their quality, and we did say before the first game we'd have took a draw. But in hindsight, when we look at it again, we are 2 goals in front with 15 minutes to go twice. We should have seen it through. Really should have seen it through. That was just my thoughts on it, guys.
Alex, sometimes it's no. It's a disappointment result because of how we achieved it. I don't think it's a disappointing result.
Overall, it's not a disappointing result, but I can understand it. When you're 2-0 up, but as I said, the legs begin to go and we're getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And you could see them just coming on. And they've got that bit of class there that they can open you up. It's not as if you're not going to be playing teams like that every week. So it's another experience to Rangers Football Club here. And it is, I know 2-0 up and people say you should never lose a game in that, but you're against these quality teams. See, your concentration goes for a couple of minutes. That's all it takes. But we've got the Betfred Cup to look forward to now and also. That's another thing. This is the first trophy we've got to try and win here. This is the time to start changing the team. Can make changes in that now.
Right, Southside, what's you're Mr. Gerrard, you're picking the team for Sunday. Give us your team.
I'd change it quite dramatically, to be honest. McLaughlin, I think I'll have to keep Tav. Probably keep Tav and Golston. With Hollander and Banksy. And then the midfield, if I've got a stomach bug, I'll have Aribo, Kamara, and Brandon Barker on the right hand side, and I'll play up front. I'll go with Itten, Defoe, and Stewart.
Okay, Bob, Gia.
Well, you want the team for Sunday?
Yes, mate. Your thoughts?
Well, I think I would agree with that lineup there. The gentleman said, I would go with that lineup. I would agree with that totally. Yeah.
He's a
Keep
nice
Barker
guy.
and Greg Stewart again.
Gentleman.
Yeah. What's that?
He's a nice guy, but ain't no gentleman.
Nah, well, I've actually been on that pitch, at Falkirk, and it's one of the better ones.
Right.
One of the better, if you can call them better. Like, I know we didn't agree with Plastic Parts Boys, and I didn't agree with Falker because that's where my wife comes from. But
Bob, did you win? Did you win?
I didn't win actually. I was at my work one day and I had to go and empty a bin with a lorry and the gate was open, so I took a wee walk inside and had a look at the back.
I love it, pal. Love it.
Yeah, story. I come in and I stood in the penalty spot and a guy came out and says, "What are you doing here?" I says, "Well," I says, I'm a Rangers fan." I says, "No, the controversy about plastic pitches. I've never been on one." I says, "So here I am to look at it." But it's believe me, it's one of the better ones. And okay, Falkirk will be young. They're keen. I think they're quite near the top of the league they're in, if I'm not wrong. And they'll be keen and they'll be up for it. So we'll need to overcome that. But nah, we've got the squad to beat them. Let's just go out and do it, Gers. Do it again.
JFK.
That's a good team. You know, I certainly wouldn't let. I wouldn't give Barker a game. I'm not a fan of Barker at all. I'd rather have Hadji playing than Barker. I'm not a great fan of Hadji, but Barker for me, I think he's an empty jersey. I know he scored a couple of semi-important goals, but for me, no. The rest of the team, I'm okay with. But for me, I'm not keen in Barker even putting a Rangers shirt on again, guys. That's just my personal opinion. But the rest of the team, I'm all right with. I'd like to see Aribo and Zungu get a run out, depending how
that's if they're going to be.
If they're going to be fit, mate. Aye.
It's saying on the telly, guys, that Aribo's not going to be back till next week. So I think he's out for the weekend. His stomach bug's no thing up yet. It's no cleared up yet.
If he's going out for the weekend, I hope he's careful.
No, he's not gone out, but he's out for the weekend.
Sorry.
No, he's out for the weekend. His stomach bug's still bothering him.
Remember the stomach bug, Alex? They used to call it the 10 bob bits, didn't they?
That's right. Well, basically, that's what it is. Is it something wrong, isn't it?
I get
Can I give you my team option?
Yeah, let's have your team, Dave.
I'll go with it, obviously, the goalie, the McLaughlin, Bassey. I think he'll play Hollander with Balogun, rest Goldson.
Right.
Patterson's not available, is he?
Still isolating.
I don't think he's available, so he might play Tav. I'll go with a midfield. Jack might be back. I'll go with...
Jack's not available, mate.
Is he not back for the weekend?
No.
I think he said he'll be back training in the morning. Right, if he's back, he'll play. I'll go with Barjonas, Jack, and Kamara. And up front, Itten, Defoe, and Hadji.
Barjonas now out on loan.
He was on the bench last night.
Was he? You sure?
Aye, he was on the bench.
I'm mistaken, boys. I thought Jamie Barjonas. I thought Jamie Barjonas was out on loan. I stand corrected.
It must have been an emergency call-up then.
Anyway, we've been
possibly. Good player, the boy.
Evening, Shuggy.
Oh, good evening, boys. How's everybody?
How you doing, mate?
All
right, Shug.
Not so bad. I just my feelings on last night and the next week game that's coming up. I think we've got a chance to play as French players on Sunday, and I think as French players should at least get 4 or 5 for them. I think last night, it was a bit of, like we've said earlier on in the panel, a bit of deja vu, and I just think we didn't really go for it when we should have. We slightly changed our game because they come back from 2 goals in the first leg. I think we slightly changed our game and said, well, we'll try and see this out. And I don't think that Gerard's gone for that philosophy this year. So I don't really understand. I know that they were a good quality team, but I don't understand why he went for that. I think we should have tried and said, look, we've got 2 goals here. Let's go and try and bury the game instead of trying to sit on it.
I never felt we tried to sit on it, Sugar. I felt we couldn't get the ball off them. When they get hold of it after we went 2-0 up, I think they had the ball for about the next 5 minutes.
Aye. Yeah. You know? They held on to the ball very well, didn't they?
They did, but they did in saying that, but I mean, if you actually look over the full game, I watched the rerun of it again today, and even though we scored early doors, we got the goal early doors. I thought they were very good, but we have to get, if we wanted to really sort of compete at this level, I know that we're improving, but we have to learn. And I know that he's going to shift some on. I believe he's going to shift some of the players on that we've even got now in the squad for next season. I still think we have to learn a wee bit.
We'll do that every week.
I think we're disappointed. Gary, wait a minute. We'll go to Gary. Gary, we're still relatively young, and even though some of the guys have played a lot of games, it's only the third season for some of them playing European ties, for most of them, in fact. And we're still evolving, so let's not get too down. And I get Shug's point. We're all disappointed when we went 2-0 up. But in the big picture, but it must be the most improved team in Europe in the last 3 seasons. Gary?
Aye, I would agree with that. I think we're still bedding in. There's a lot of young players who are still finding their feet, and they've taken, I think, like he wasn't on last night, but Aribo, certainly a player that's had to learn where he's at, and they want to play in the highest level. All players do, to a certain extent. They want to test themselves on the highest stage and play against teams like Benfica. So, we're disappointed as players, but as fans. But you can be sure that the players are disappointed as well. So, we're improving all the time. The stats are improving all the time. The form. I think I quite enjoy looking at the stats and stuff. And year on year, we've scored more goals than the previous year under Gerrard, and we've lost fewer goals year on year under Gerrard, and that's only getting better and better and better, and that's due to the system. And it's not just the system; it's the players, the squad buying into that system, and having that belief in each other. But on my point, do you not think Middleton will get a game at the weekend?
No chance. Don't see it.
No.
He's up for the squad. Do you know the stat I did enjoy when somebody read it to me the day JFK?
There you go.
A team that play the same city as us has got the worst defensive record in the whole competition.
I've heard there's a couple of Diddy teams who've actually scored more goals than them.
21 goals in 9 games.
They're still to go to Milan.
I know, mate. I know. Southside, give us that team of yours again. Right, let's move on to Sunday's game. Park last night, Shuggy, Parker.
Right.
Let's look
Right.
forward. Give us that team.
Right, I'll change Aribo since he's probably not going to be in, right? I'll go with McLaughlin, Tav, Golston, Hollander and Bassey. Midfield will be Kamara, Hadji and Barker or Stewart, whatever way you want to do it. And up front, it'll be Defoe, Itten. We'll say Defoe, Itten and Barker up front with Hadji, Kamara and Stewart in the midfield. That should be good enough to beat Falkirk, I would expect.
Big Dave.
I gave you my team. Do you want me to give you it again?
No, I want you to tell me. Should that team be winning against Falkirk comfortably?
Oh, right. Well, they're top of League One, isn't they? That team should be good enough, and if it isn't good enough, they shouldn't get another game again, should they?
Right, okay. Alex, you remember Warburton, maybe how we even struggled against Falkirk, how we've come on there.
My old skipper liked. Mind him.
Oh, we've definitely come on. You want my team, Ox, here?
Aye, I'll have your team, Alex. Always interested in yours, mate.
I'll have McLaughlin, Tavernier.
Right.
I quite agree with that. Balogun, Hollander and Bassey.
Right.
Midfield, I would have Kamara, Zunga. Is he going to be available?
Potentially, don't know tomorrow. He's going to be training. Look at him and train if he can train tomorrow.
Well, if he's available, I'll have Zunga and Hadji. And the three at the front, I would have Greg Stewart, Itten, and Defoe.
Right, how are you playing the front three? Itten on the right, Greg Stewart on the left, Defoe through the middle.
Yep.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
All right,
That's a good side as well. That's a good side.
Well,
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea for what you call it, Golston, to get a rest.
I agree. He needs one.
We've been joined by Dale for the west coast of the USA.
Oh, great!
How we doing,
Aye,
Dale?
how's it going, guys? No, really.
Hi, Dave. All right.
Did somebody call me Dale? Dave? No, I'm not. No.
Nice to hear you, Dale. Nice to hear you, pal.
I'm sure you've been called a lot worse, Dale.
Many times.
That's only the difference between an L and a V.
It could have been called Neil.
You know what? I've been called that much, I don't care anymore. But I don't know. Looking forward to Sunday, it's just give the main boys a rest. I don't know about Tav, obviously, because of the other boy that's Patterson, that's isolating right now. I don't think they've got a direct replacement for Tav at the moment. But, I mean, my team would be McLaughlin, Bassey, and then going through the middle of the defence, it'd be Hollander. Golson needs a rest, right? What's the other guy's name? Oh, for goodness sake. Balogun, yeah. And then obviously it'll be Tav on the right, as usual, I think. And then in the midfield, Kamara. I don't think you'll see Davis or Jack, so it'll be Kamara. And I'm trying to remember the rest of their names now as well. I think... Oh my God, I've lost it. I can't mind the names.
So
I need to go and get checked out.
Arfield, Jack, Aribo might not be playing.
I don't think Aribo would have to play in
I think he's still
shots
got a
that might.
stomach. I think he's still got a stomach.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. He'd be the only Rangers playing with brown shorts on. So I'm thinking that maybe they might just leave him out. So I don't think there's no reason to bring these players back in. But I'm trying to think of the cover in the midfield, right? Okay, central midfield. I've lost
Stephen Davis.
Well, do you think Davis will play though?
No,
just because he's had a.
They'll save him for Thursday.
That's what I'm thinking. They'll
guys, do you not think he'll? Guys, you don't think he'll try and get somebody else in to play right back? Because Tav's played a lot of football, man. He has played a lot of football, and I think he would definitely be getting rested if Patterson was fit. And it's a shame Patterson's no fit for the boy because to get him game time in a Rangers shirt.
Yeah.
I think if the players heard the way you're saying they need a rest and so on and so forth, I think he'd be raging.
I agree with that, but. I think sometimes they don't know what's good for them, sort of thing. They need, that's why they need managed.
You know what it's like,
when
I do with Fox. You've got to protect people for themselves sometimes, Bridgeman.
Aye. Oxter, I saw a stat the day Taff gave the ball away 20 times last night. That was a stat of the day. So he's maybe needing a rest. As you say, he's got to look after the players, and sometimes the players don't ken themselves, they need a rest,
And we've got a weakness there on the right hand side of defence then, because if Patterson's out, if this happened, if Tav picked up an injury, which he's never injured, but touch wood, I'm not testing fate, but if he does get the pick up an injury like he did last season, I think he was out for about 3 or 4 games, wasn't he? And we had Flanagan filling in there, and Polster as well. So
I would definitely rest Tav and Golson for the Thursday.
Who would play in that position?
Dave, just
there's a question for you.
Wait a minute, wait till you hear your name and we'll start drafting just because we're all cutting across each other. Yeah, and Fox is getting angry. And when Fox gets angry, Bridgeman, what happens?
Oh, we just stay well.
Ding.
Aye.
What the Fox says, you think.
Southside, Tavernier, he seems a unique player in modern football, doesn't he? Just keeps going.
Aye, I mean, I'm listening to what the guys are saying. There's no harm in starting Tav. And if we go 2, 3, 4 up, you can take Tav off. You take Tav off the park. There will be somebody else behind Patterson, maybe that we could fling in. But to be honest, I wouldn't be too worried about starting them. If we go 2, 3 up, you can take Tav off any time. I just feel like if we need to rest some players, obviously, for Thursday night. So, and I didn't want to change the team too much at the back because you need a wee bit of stability. That's why I put Golston in just beside Tav with Hollander and Bassey. And that midfield, like Kamara, with Hadji and Stewart and Barker, Itten and Defoe. I mean, come on, that should be good enough to beat Falkirk.
On the other side of the coin, Oxshire, would it maybe play the strongest team we've got and go and blitz Falkirk the first half and then make the 5 changes?
The problem is with that, innit? It's always hindsight again. You play that, you do that, you play your first, you play your best team, and Stephen Davis and Glenn Kamara run at each other.
I can understand. I hear the guys' teams there, and I can see it. I can see they're thinking that. But for me, there isn't anybody at the moment that would replace Tavernier.
This is potentially.
I know. No, for me, Tavernier's go to play.
Even this is only the only game this season potentially that we'll be able to rest anybody.
Yeah. Tavernier's going to be a definite starter for me because that my weak in that right back position. You don't have
I just have to cut across you, mate, with an announcement. Bathgate Bear, we can't bring you in if you keep phoning us. Last time, you phone in, hang up, and we will phone you back. It ain't difficult, mate.
Most of the teams that the guys have all mentioned, we've all kind of mishmashed different, and that's good because we're all thinking of the same hymn sheet here, or saying off the same hymn sheet. We're looking for us to rest players and looks also for the team to perform. I would like to see Alfredo play part of the game in Sunday. I know he's playing well.
Are you playing him to get him a goal? But
I want him to get a goal, mate. I want him to get a couple of goals. But it'd not be great if he managed to get a hat trick or something like that. Watching him last night, his smile is back there again. He had a fantastic game. But just for the sake of getting goals, and it probably won't happen. He'll probably play Defoe, I would think. 4 or 5 changes, I wouldn't go any more than that, guy.
We've been joined by Bathgate Bear. How are we doing, Bathgate?
I'm not bad. Right, so my team is McLaughlin, Bassey, Steady, Tavernier, Goldson, Hollander, and Baratic, Zungu, Barjonas, Itten, Hadji, and Greg Stewart, Eddie Barker. That's my team.
All right, mate. Okay.
And a 4-0 result.
4-0 result. I'd take that, Southside.
Aye, at half time.
I would take that, no bother. I can see it. Goals, but I would just rest Alfie, to be honest, Jimmy. I would put Itten and Defoe in. They should be able to score goals, and if Itten can get back in the score sheet for Motherwell, then it boosts his confidence a wee bit because he's not really had a chance. He's going to bide his time, mate. But that's just my own personal opinion.
No, you're right. So say just that I'm looking for Alfie to get back in the scoring zone again.
Wait a minute, somebody's got a telly coming in.
I heard that.
Turn that off if you get a telly in the background.
It was my fault. No, it's away. It was my daughter came out of her bedroom. I'm sorry about that, Ox. And she left the door open.
As long as you're not taking the show into your daughter's bedroom.
I'm certainly not. No.
Quite right.
That's my thinking on it, Southside. I'd like to see Alfie get on the score sheet and going forward. And I've no doubt Jermaine Defoe can bang a couple in as well.
There's about 12 on the call, and I just keep it brief, but I want everybody's opinion. And obviously, we are looking at people for the nativity play, so we're scoring these all the time to see what parts these are getting in the.
As long as I don't get the back end of the donkey.
Was that a good enough donkey for you?
It's not the best we've had. It's not the best we've had.
Oh no, it wasn't.
Can I come in here up?
Just listen to the question, Bob. Yeah, 22 games we've played. how are you rating the start of the season? Come on, we're moving towards the middle. We can't keep going on about the start. 22 games.
First of all, I'd like to say I can't walk bear to a donkey's anatomy. I'm one, but there you go. You can't have everyone. Before I go, guys, as I keep saying, it's Doug time again. Before I go, I think the start of the season's went wonderful. It's went great, and we're looking for a continuation on Sunday, obviously, and next Thursday. And I think, come on the Jars, we're doing well. We're top of the league. We're top of the Europa League group, sorry. And the team's looking good. Guys are coming back, getting fit. We've got a great squad of players, and it can only augur well for the rest of the season. That's my opinion on it at the moment. And I'm going to say good night, gentlemen.
Doug's got you wasted by that. Doug's got you off on his other finger.
That Doug's got me wasted. It definitely has, pal. There's two of them.
Good night, Bob, Jar.
Good night and good luck, everybody.
Bob,
see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, Bob, Jar. Bye.
Good night, Bob.
22 games, Alex. One at a time. 22 games, Alex.
Yeah.
Undefeated at any time.
Sorry?
At 22 games undefeated at any time is a good start. Benfica, Galatasaray, Wilmsray, Standard Liège, Lech Poznan. It's okay.
It's unbelievable. If it was any other country but Scotland, Christ, the pressure they get is unbelievable. What we've done. It's hard to believe that how far we've came here in a short time. But we certainly don't get recognised up here. This should be made front page stuff. If it was other side of the city, you know what to do about. What I'm saying about Sunday's game, I've got to give them the professionalism and go do the business, get the job done with about the first half. But we need to play the fringe players. We definitely utilise the squad here and give everybody what you call it game time. That was quite a good bit that Gary put there about the right back position. I've seen it all along with Tavernier. He's unbelievable, but if we take an injury at all, we've not really got cover there. And it's hard to get a quality right back to come in that's going to sit on the bench. This is a problem we've got. Young boy Patterson's a right good boy. But if we're going to get through the football we're doing, we go further in Europa League and that, we're going to have to get quality in there and all. Because if this guy gets injured, it's certainly going to be some ordeal.
Big Dave.
I think Gerrard will look at that next season. There'll be a few leaving and there'll be a few coming in. And I think he'll get a good backup for Tav. And as for the start of the season, well, as you say, it's not the start anymore, is it? We're about a third of the way in, aren't we? It's just been phenomenal. So it says the stats the other week there, we're top all the five leagues in Europe. And you can count Portugal in that and all. There's the sixth league. We're top the all of them in the stats. Goals against, goals for, less defeats, you name it, most wins. I'm buzzing, by the way. I'm buzzing. This has been for where we've come. We were all depressed 3 years ago. We're all taking antidepressants. Come on. For where we've come to what we're on a high now. We're taking drugs to get us down now. Come on, guys.
Gary?
Aye, I think there's maybe business to be done in January if there's value there for somebody at right back. But I think Gerrard's got faith in the young boy Patterson because he's made a couple of appearances this season in games where we've been ahead, like Motherwell. He made a good few changes and brought Edmondson in, and he changed Tav as well. He gave Tav a rest in that game, and the young boys got 20-30 minutes at the end of that game. But you don't want a young 18-year-old boy coming into a team that's so successful and making maybe a mistake too. It could smash his confidence. So you've got to look after him. But like you say, getting quality to come in and sit on the bench doesn't really happen. So you've got to kind of find young boys like Bassey, who has been a revelation since he came in, really, from what we've seen him. He looks a right good player, and he hasn't played first team football before since he came to Rangers, and he's came to Rangers because he was promised. Not first team football as a starter, but he would definitely be used and get game time, which is he's getting. So, I think Gerrard's always going to be looking for to bring somebody in, but that's the only concern really
in that squad, when they talk about 2 players for every position, I don't know if we really have 2 players for the right back position, because Patterson is a right player. He's a good attacking player, and the boy can defend and he's fast, but he is only a boy. So that'd be my concern. And if you lose Tav, in the form that he's in at the moment, that's a concern, isn't it? So, but touch wood, that doesn't happen, because he's hardly been injured since he came to the club. He's played a lot of football. So,
all right, cheers, Gary. Shuggy, Tavernier, obviously his brother plays professional football. Obviously, James is a pretty one. You know what that's like, being a prettier brother.
I do, yeah. Obviously, I am. Yeah, of course, that's without doubt. But personally, myself, I think he's trying to nurture Patterson into a good right back. I think he's got a good person to look up to with Tav now, because I think Tav's playing off his confidence now. Like I say, I think he made his statement last year, and I think he went home and says to himself, "Well, I'm at a club like Rangers now. I shouldn't have made that statement." And I think that in a daft kind of way, that's kind of brought him on. He seems to change as an individual in himself that realises that Rangers is a massive, massive club. He wants to be there and he wants to be a winner. And I think that Patterson hopefully will learn off of Tavernier, and Patterson will be a very good acquisition, I would say, in 2 to 3 years' time. I know we can't wait 2 or 3 years' time, but I think there's a good player in Patterson as well. I also think that we've got good quality with Bassey. I think he's going to learn really, really quick. I think there's fantastic potential in that boy, and I also think that we're possibly looking in the foreign market or the English market for another acquisition somewhere along that line.
All right. Cheers, mate. Dale, obviously we're talking about James Tavernier a lot here, and what we talked about the game earlier on, and he's some athlete. I mean, you think about it, for that, our first goal, he's in the opposition 6-yard box and he jumps. Like, what a leap he had. He did a but he's some athlete, isn't he? Dale? Oh, he's on mute. JFK.
Oh, my feelings on the right back position. It's something I've been saying for the last couple of seasons, mate. That we do need somebody as a backup for Tavernier, either been suspended or injured. And I think the time is now to go and get that right back, and they should do that in the January window. If we're talking about resting Tavernier, Big Patterson's not ready for that on a game-to-game basis. For me, he's a couple of years away from being a full back for Rangers in that position. So I'm hoping that we get somebody in, and I have been hoping for that for the last 2 seasons. And I think he needs to act quickly and get somebody in, because Tav at times does look tired, and he needs a rest. Who's it? Could he play Bassey there? Possibly. But he's not the answer long.
When have you seen that this season? I've not seen that this season, mate.
What's that? No.
Tav been tired.
Some of his crossing has been poor, mate, at times. You've got to be honest. He's not 100% all the time. And you need him.
Even
no, I know that. But you still kind of keep playing the same right back or left back or whatever every single game. You've got to try and give him a rest sometimes. And the games against teams like Falkirk is the ideal opportunity.
Yeah. Oxford, Tav and Goldson never get subbed. They never ever get subbed. When they're doing the 5 subs, he never brings off Goldson and he never brings off Tav. So I agree with the guys. You've got to get... It's Falkirk. I mean, we should beat them no matter who we put out. And you've got to give the 2 a rest. You've got to give them a rest. Especially when you need to win next Thursday.
I say you protect him for yourself, but I can't say once I've looked at James Tavernier this season and thought he was remotely tired with energy.
Well, who made this? Who put the start of the show or the middle of the show about James Tavernier's possession last night? 20 passes.
Me, Dave. He lost the ball 20 times.
He didn't have a good game, but he makes lose the
ball
10 times in a normal game.
No, I'm not.
But that could be down to tiredness or not.
That could be down to tiredness, Oxy. I'm not decrying you. I think James Tavernier. Well, again, I'll quote Fox, and me and Fox I've had a bit of banter about James Tavernier. I never rated him, and I still didn't at that time. But he's come on leaps and bounds for me, you know. But I still think that he's got to be replaced when and need be, and I think Sunday's game is a time for it to be replaced. Just because to give a bit of freshness in his legs for the next game, for no other reason than that. And what Dave said there about his passes, I saw that start. Could that be down to tiredness? You know, that was a hard game last night.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason. I mean, I know you're maybe saying that you've not seen the tiredness, but maybe it's starting to creep up on him. And him or
the sweeties, can you stop?
Give me one. Maybe they're starting to show that wee bit of tiredness. So it's not a criticism in James Tavernier. I just think that
no.
Freshen it up a bit, and you know yourself, and everybody that listens to the Rangers radio. I've not just been saying this, I've been saying this for 2 seasons. We still need another right back to complement and chase Tav up a bit, and I hope the gaffer does that in January. For that reason, mate.
Southside.
Jimmy, I know what you're saying. Patterson's probably not ready just to know, but I still think when we're playing Livingston at Ibrox, St Mirren, even St Mirren away, games like that, you could probably drop Tav and try the young boy in there and give him a game. I don't think it would do him any harm in certain games to come in, but to be honest, if you look through the English Premiership, most of them play with a right back and left back. Trent Arnold and Robertson play every week for Liverpool, virtually. And that's the way it is. They'll just have to play. But like I said, I think Patterson could play in a couple of the games at Ibrox. And I don't think it would give James Tavernier a rest. I think it's hard to get somebody in that's probably going to push him, because Tav's are probably going to start. Last night, as well, what they're saying, I don't think it was tiredness. I just think he didn't start well, and he didn't really have a good game, to be honest. And near did most of the defenders. Apart from Balogun, I thought he was about the best one we had, to be honest. And big Goldstein Bridge, we think of Goldstein turning his back twice when somebody's taking a shot, man. It was criminal, absolutely criminal.
I think my thoughts right at the time, and just before that, maybe I thought here we're seeing Bambi on ice at times, you know. But yeah, he did that turn and he lost the ball and he lost his geographical sense, didn't know where he was. But he picked himself back up.
I was talking about when the ball came in the box.
Yeah, I know, I'm saying that. No, he turned his back on it.
He's turned his back twice when there's a shot coming in.
It's as if he was expecting a shot and he was trying to cover himself. That's all. But no, a centre-half never, ever do that. I thought, what you said earlier, I thought Balogun had a really good game last night. Really good game.
His pace gets him out a bit of trouble, doesn't it, Balogun? He has got a ton of pace, hasn't he?
Yeah, there was one lovely tackle he got on the guy. And by the way, it's not a criticism of anyone in the team. If the guy gets through, it's a pure skill that he's got. Beautiful pass right to his feet. Superb. And away he was. And a wee touch past Balogun as well. But Balogun got back. That recovery pass. Tackle that. Fantastic. Just fantastic.
You get the weight of that pass, that's quite a simple skill. You just let it run up your laces and just flick it, mate.
Stopped a certain goal there, I think.
Talking about your aim laces.
That's simple, mate. That's simple.
I think he stopped a certain goal there, Oxtear. And Goldson, I think he thought he was going to get smashed in the face, did he know, with the ball? I think that's why he turned his back.
I think the point Southside's making will go and get smashed in the face and clear the ball.
Exactly. I know Richard Goff and Big Terry Butcher would have took it, you know what I mean? But obviously Goldson, he thought he was going to get smashed in the face, and he's not that type, obviously.
No, I know.
He's too good looking.
Gary, we've got a game coming up on Sunday. It's the League Cup tie. Is it our biggest game of the season? But we want to keep going, make it 23 undefeated and move on to next Thursday against Standard Liège.
I mean,
how do you see it going?
Oh, I mean, I don't think Gerrard would allow the players to be complacent. I think they need to take from last season when we played Stranraer at home in the opening, the same fixture. and we were absolutely woeful that night. Horrific. We still come away with a 2-0 win, but, you know, Gerrard will be reminding the players about that. You know, don't take anything for granted. But, you know, if Rangers turn up even half as good as what they have been this season, it's the game's a gimme. So they just have to be in the right mind frame. The players that get on, you know, your Jonas, your Stewarts, and these fringe players, they've got to take their chance to impress as well, because, you know, there's everybody's in form at the moment. The only players that have kind of fallen away for the squad are Hadji and Barker at the moment. I don't know what's up with Hadji at the moment. I don't know. I thought he started the season quite good and was up and around the top of the assists. And he's still up there. I think he's second in assists at the moment in the season in the league. But yeah, I think it's. I think as long as we turn up with the right mind frame, professionalism, and attitude, the game should be pretty straightforward.
Chuggy, you still with us? Chuggy, you still with us?
I am, mate. I am still here.
Aye. The League Cup's been a competition historically. We've done okay in it.
Well, obviously, I think it's very historical this season because we want to take the table off them, do we not? And
yeah.
If it's about winning the first trophy, mate, and putting red, white, and blue ribbons on them trophies, and then we can show them where we're going. You know, we're only starting our journey just now, and we're going to show them where we're going because we're going to leave them behind. If we said before the season started, and we've said for the last 2 seasons, well, we're on the train, well, let's believe it then. And let's go and take that train and let's run it straight for the next block of wherever it's going to take us.
All right. Have I missed out a caller? Is Davey still with us? Did I miss out Davey? Where's he gone? I must have.
Big Dave.
No, it must be you, Dave. I'm just looking at my list. My list's too long tonight.
You only had one, Dave, as far as I know.
That's enough for me, mate.
Ox, I'm going to go the new pal, all right?
All right, I know it's past your bedtime, mate. All right, you take it easy.
Southside. That's terrible saying that to you.
Shocker. I'll leave you with my score for tomorrow. For Sunday. 5-0. 5-0. Defoe a hat-trick. Atney score and Greg Stewart if he's playing.
But it's a smash and shout, pal. Smash and shout. Love it.
Right, good night, lads. And
all right, speak to you soon, Southside. All right, mate.
Cheers, Southside.
Allow yourself a wee drink. Allow yourself a wee drink because there's Neil Lennon signed a new 5-year contract. Let's celebrate.
Right, good night, guys.
Take care, Southside.
How are you spelling Neil?
What's that, mate?
How are you spelling Neil?
Neil, aye. Neil before God.
Are you back, Dale?
I was on mute there and I didn't realise. As usual. I was away shutting my daughter's door again. You know, she's not particularly into the podcast, so she doesn't realise when I'm on. So anyway, now Rangers, no problem. And, you know, just if we can go back really fast, you know, to the right back problem. Start Tavernier and then shift around, you know, if he's tired. But I can understand by Tavernier, and you could see it in Golson all night there as well. He was just tired. You know, they were knackered after that, you know, after that challenge. So they've got boys they can bring in, you know, especially Bassey and all the rest of it. You know, I think it's not going to be a problem on Sunday. And why would you risk top-class players on a plastic pitch? You know, a completely different stadium. You know, I mean, I know in the cup games we've got to go back to a lot of these stadiums, you know, and play away games. But you know, don't risk anybody. I'm hoping that Zungu's fit. Get him in there. And, you know, obviously, you know, the gap of left, right, you know, maybe Kamara. And obviously, I would bring back the wee man Hadji, you know, up front as well. and maybe just give Greg Stewart that chance. I think it's just it's going to be a last cameo for him because he's no really getting in the team. And I think the Rangers have got plenty of strength there to play are they League One? A League One team, definitely.
Top of the League One, aye. Can I come in there, Oxford?
On you go, to Big Dave.
I was just thinking there, Edmondson and Jones, if they hadn't
I kicked myself.
They would have played them on. You could have had Edmondson at right back, you know what I'm saying? And Jones would have played either side of maybe Itten and Defoe, maybe with Barker as well, or the team at Mercedes. But Jones and if they hadn't been on suspension, they two definitely would have been playing them on Sunday.
Aye, potentially, mate. Aye, I think you're right there.
You're right. Yeah. Your right back spot would have been sorted, because you could have put Edmondson there.
JFK. I don't see any problem on Sunday, but I don't see any problem most weeks,
No, we don't see any problems most weeks now, but I'm going for 7-0 on Sunday, no matter what team we put out.
Wow, JFK, wow.
They're a League One team. We took 8 off out of the Hamilton, so I'm confident about, and I'll go for either an Alfredo or a Defoe hat-trick, whoever's playing. It'd even be nice if they both get a hat-trick in the game. One first off, one set. But I'm going for the Super 7, Magnificent 7.
By the way, that's 14 goals at Ibrox, mate. 8, 4 and 2, and Defoe and Morelos have they scored one of them.
I know, I saw that. But I'm going for 7-0, no matter what team we put out. And I agree, I think was it Dale said there, it's just a pity that big Jorge Edmondson had done something silly, because I'd have slotted him in at right back to give him a chance to prove what he can do. So, but unfortunately that's not going to happen for another 5 or 6 games. So, but that's a pity. But no matter what team we put out on Sunday, Oxshire, I'm very confident we'll win it very, very convincingly. And I'll stick my neck out and say 7-0.
If you've not received an email by 10 o'clock tonight, it means you've not got a partner in activity play, okay?
Oh, no. Devastated.
Chuggy, we're struggling for wise men.
Well, don't pick me then, because I'm not very wise.
Don't admit to that, pal.
I don't admit to a lot of things these days.
I'm saying 5-0.
I will split the difference, go for 6. I get your point, JFK. I mean, obviously, they're a Division 1 side, and we'll see where it goes. As long as we play the game and we don't have any drama in it, let's just say drama, no injuries, and we just move on. And then, because we've no Brett now, that's us too much.
Yeah. We don't want the Brett.
Bridge, man, you wouldn't believe it. We've reached that time of the evening.
Oh wow, incredible! Can I just say, I'm going to really go for it for this weekend. I'll go for a 1-0 for Rangers. There you go.
Can I say?
Can I just say?
Hurry up, Bath.
Just one wee question. Aye. Who do you think's got to be in the bench? Because it's got to be a weak bench, and I know it's Falkirk, but previously it's been a good bench, and I think Bassey will play in that right back position.
I think the bench will be the strongest it's been all season, because it'll ball first timers. It's on it. On you go, Bridgman.
Oh, what can I say?
I think we'll see Tav dropped. I think Tav needs a rest.
Gary. But on you go, Bridgman. Cheers, Gary.
Cheers, guys. Can I just say that I was so proud, still so proud, and high as a kite. That was a fantastic result for us last night. Came through that huge game, and that team we played were brilliant. To all the Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, remember, we're through and we're top of the group. Everybody, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really need us. Keep it going.
Here, can I thank all the callers tonight? Southside who come in, Dave, Bob Gia, Bathgate, Shuggy, Alex, great calls. But Gary for the first, Dale, of course, for California. Gary for the first time, brilliant call, Gary. Enjoyed your company. To
It's been great, guys. Thank you.
JFK and Bridgeman for starting the show with us in the panel. Fantastic. Fox and Old School Blue doing the technicals. We appreciate it very, very much. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back. What time's the kick-off on Sunday?
5:30.
5:30. We'll be back.
Another great show. Fox here, another great show, son.
Cheers, Alex. We'll be back at 4:30. 4:30. We have a pre-match show. You never know. If All School's feeling generous, we might have a lockdown special tomorrow night to break up the boredom. Take it away, All School Blue.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
There's oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. When McAvenny scored the first, the beggars thought it was the first of many oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. It didn't take long to realise when Super Ali equalised. Oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Then up stepped Super D. It was a 30-yarder all the way. Oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues.
Tomorrow then.
Well, I've never felt more like singing the blues when Rangers put 5 past Dean Andrews. Oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Then Andrews claimed he couldn't see when Super Ali made it 3. Oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. The Ibrox fans, well, they wanted more when Kevin Drinkle made it 4. Oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Well, I've never felt more like singing the blues when the Rangers put 5 past Dean Andrews. Oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Well, Ibrox Park, it came alive when the bold Mark Walters, he made it 5. Oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. When Barry McNeil went home that night, he said to his wife, the Celtic are shite. Oranges, cha-cha-cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Well, I never felt more like singing the blues when Rangers put 5 past Dean Andrews. Oranges, you got me singing the blues. You got me singing the blues.